So my name is Darren Ferguson. I am 27 years old.
My name is Vinny Gamber and I'm 20 years old.
Patrick Drouse, I'm 20 years old.
Hey, my name is Aaron Money, I'm 20 years old.
I'm Harley Peck and I'm 20.
My name is Ryan Newell, and my age is actually the first question. I'm 33.
I do. I was born in the 90s, and growing up, my mother and my father raised me to believe that women and men are of equal value. There is no X amount of lower pay or greater amount depending on gender.
I believe men and women are equal, and that's how I was raised.
Yes, I do, because men and women are equal.
Yes, I don't see why they shouldn't be.
Yes, I do.
I think that there's an opportunity, but I don't necessarily say entitlement is a necessity. I think that's a very loaded question, and it depends on what it is that they're striving for. I think in our current society, most of the positions, most of the higher positions are held more by one gender than the other, but that doesn't mean that any one gender is entitled over the other. So that I really don't have a clear answer for number two.
Feminism is a movement supporting the equal rights of men and women.
That both men and women are equal to any rights and they're equal.
To me, feminism is having equal rights and opportunity for both men and women in society.
Feminism is equal rights for women.
I think number three can go back similar to number two, that if one feels that there is some type of gender inequality, particularly for women, in this case, that women should gain more, I don't want to use the word entitlement, but should have more grounds to be more voiced in society. And I believe that's really what feminism is going to, empowering women to become, again, I don't want to use the word entitled, but very similar to the same purpose of question number two, is to have the same rights, not set by gender itself.
I was, after the age of 14, my father passed, and I was raised by my mother for about 7 years.
I was not.
No.
Yes, I was actually raised by a single mother.
No, I was raised by my grandmother though.
Yes, my parents got divorced.
She did not. She was single, and believe it or not, we were, I guess, considered in poverty at the time. So, no, she did not.
She had several when I was growing up.
She did.
No, she did not. So it was myself and my 5 siblings. So there was all 6 of us, and we really took care of each other.
I do. I do believe if each gender is willing to put in the time and effort to whatever the job requires, I believe they are entitled to that amount of pay, regardless of sexuality or gender.
I think men and women deserve equal pay because if a male does the same job as a female, yes, they deserve equal payment.
Yes, if they're equal, so yeah.
Yes, I don't see why they shouldn't, even though they are.
I think everybody should be paid for the work they do equally, yeah.
Yes, of course. I don't think that pay should be designated by gender. It could be designated by rank or ability, but definitely not gender itself.
It doesn't bother me one bit.
If the children isn't neglected because of it, then yes, it is fine.
I think it's fine. I mean, if they don't have somebody to help them raise kids, then yeah, they need somebody there.
I think it's okay because it can help the mom be less stressed out, and if the suitor is also helping with children, that's fine. But if the children are neglected because of it, especially when they're younger, I don't think it's okay.
I think anybody should date whoever they want. It doesn't matter if you have kids or not.
I think that's completely up to the individual themselves. My opinion is to each his own. If they feel comfortable with that, I'm sure they're adult enough that they can figure something out.
I would, if they had all the. I'm not a very political person, but if all the right. Not very political, but I guess I would if circumstances came to play.
I would vote for a female president if I believed that she could do what was needed.
Yes.
Yeah, sure, why not?
I would.
Yes. I mean, if they were a qualified candidate, then I definitely wouldn't view them based on gender, but their qualifications.
Eating cake.
I guess women with single women with a kid.
I think cake is really, really good, so I'll say that.
I gotta say, I do love cake.
Don't know how to answer that question. I don't like cake, and I don't see any problem with single women with children. So many of the students that I have are possibly single women with children, or they have children in general.
I think it is not. I think it's actually disrespectful and idiotic, believe it or not. I would never do such a thing, and people who do, I feel bad for them.
Catcalling can be a compliment, and it can also be degrading towards women.
I guess it depends if they're nice or rude about it, but I wouldn't do it, so no.
No, I don't think it's a compliment. To most people, it's degrading. So there's other ways that you can compliment strangers, women, in that matter.
Catcalling isn't a compliment. There's a difference between complimenting somebody and being vulgar towards them.
Catcalling, I imagine that's calling somebody out, or as long as it's not a rude comment, but I guess that's probably what catcalling would be classified as. But I think complimenting somebody is not a problem, but I guess catcalling, I might be a little bit outdated with that expression. So I would probably pass on that, saying yes, it is not a compliment. I think it's something that you could tell somebody in person.
I would definitely date a single mother with children. Doesn't affect me one bit.
Yes.
Not at the age of 20, maybe when I'm 35 and very lonely, yes.
I mean, I wouldn't be against it, no.
If I were single, then I wouldn't think having children is such a bad thing. I think that really empowers a person if they're able to handle a household of kids, and I do have kids, as well as live a personal life. Something that you learn when you have kids is that a personal life becomes less personal because your kids are involved in everything that you do.
I do. Being raised by my mother, growing up, I can say that she did everything she could do with our specific financial environment. I think I came out the way I was meant to be. I came up learning a lot of responsibilities and certain aspects of life that I probably wouldn't have had or figured out with both parents.
I believe how I was raised affected how I am today, because if I was raised differently, I would be a different person today.
No, but yes, because I am who I am, not depending on my parents. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do. I definitely think so. I think that any single parent that's raising a kid, whether it's a father or a mother, not having the other in their life changes how they're brought up.
Yes, I do. I think having my family close by, again being one of 6, is very strong, and I think it complemented me. As far as who I am today, from going back to question number 4, raised by a single mother, I don't think that really had any super negative impact or positive impact based on the outcome I am today, because I do have an older brother, had family everywhere around, and I don't think that really changed who I am today in that respect. But I think family does affect who you are today. That environment does have an impact on how one will grow up and make decisions.